Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So, it's your boy, Alex, back again for another episode of my road to a 260 kilo bench. Now, it's been a bit of a break. Last video, I think I posted sometime around like Christmas, the New Year. Right now, I believe it is the 12th. And basically, we've just kind of finished our week one deload. There wasn't anything exciting, wasn't anything too hype that I thought was worth sharing for that. However, now we're into week two and the weights are going to be slowly climbing, bit by bit, day by day, getting stronger and stronger. So I thought I'd kind of throw you guys back into the mix. Now, on my deload, I hit 205 for 4 sets of 2 on bench at an RPE6. Now, I haven't done doubles for that many sets in a while, but I'm pretty sure we're pushing up, if not on top of, some rep PRs there. I definitely know that I've only hit maybe 210 for like multiple doubles. So to hit 205 for a few, we're pushing in the right direction here. Today, we've also got some comp squats, and I've got to be saying, although comp squats don't feel like they used to, back in the summer, back when I was a big boy, I was like 123. There was a lot of body fat. There was quite a few digits. They're not feeling quite as they were back then, but one of the biggest issues I faced was trying to find that stability in my squat, and I think I might have found it. A lower bar position really has kind of settled my ability to trust the weight on my back that it's not going to slide off. And it gives me that shelf, the shelf that I feel like I've been missing now for months and years and days. And solar eclipse has passed, but we're there, we're getting there. Now, in terms of deadlifts, I always have these issues because I'm a tall guy. For those of you who don't know, I'm 6'4". Like, this is a tall ceiling, but I can touch it. I got long legs, which is why squats also suffer. But for me, deadlifts, when I move from sumo to conventional, I've always been playing around with like, do I need to be more chest through? Do I need to be more like posterior chain? Or do I need to be more chest over, more anterior chain, more quads, more explosive? Each has its pros and cons. And for me, I kind of flutter between the two, trying to figure out which right now or which in the long run might be the best for me. Now, that will be next episode. Deadlifts are Wednesday. Today is Monday. So we're going to focus back in on squat and bench. We are doing singles this block, and this is going to be what I call like a run-up block for squats and deadlifts. Nothing crazy. We're just trying to get that momentum, that confidence, that power back into my squat and deadlift. I think we're ending with like a 275 and a 302.5 deadlift. Well below my strength thresholds, but I think a really important lesson for both me and a lot of people here is not every block needs to be a PR block. Like, you've got to have some time where you're giving yourself the ability to build that momentum. Like, when we look at peaking and getting stronger, everyone looks at that 4-week cycle, but actually it can be months. And usually the longer it takes, the bigger the build, the higher the total. I think it's a big lesson to be learned. Start light, finish heavy. And don't get too caught up with the time in between, because it makes you the better lifter. And I can tell you now, some of the best people in the world probably start like 200 kilos below their comp total. But you best believe when they step on that platform, they're ready. So your morning weight for me, 120.5. This is the first time in months now that I've been able to push up over 120. For those of you that don't know, when I was 123, I was quite a fluffy 123. And my biggest issue was after I got ill, I felt stuck. Like 116, 117, could not put on the size. Really struggled. But I kind of changed my habits with my eating, started pushing myself a little bit more calorie dense foods. Like this morning for breakfast, usually I'd have chicken sausages. Today I'm having 97% fat-free pork sausages. Still more calories, still more protein, but that's how I'm trying to maintain my diet. Still relatively the same, just changing small amounts. But I gotta say, I'm pretty happy with the physique. It can be leaner, it can be bigger, but we're getting there. I'm gonna give you a little preview now, so just careful. It's dangerous. This is kind of the physique we're looking at. Now, don't get me wrong, the lighting is not great in here, but then again, I'm not going to be trying to fool you with like lighting and angles and stuff. This is the physique. As you can see, we're starting to get this V-taper back here. You can start to see some of this oblique and some of this serratus coming through. And this is all whilst being back at over my weight cap. I compete sub 120. Now, my goal has always been to be a lean 125 kilo lifter. I always want to be sitting somewhere between like 3 and 5 kilos over my weight class, because that's going to give me the best off seasons. It's going to give me all this room for growth. And then by the time I come back to comp, I can just gut cut, or I can gut cut and a slight water cut, or I can just slash my carbs in my diet and my water retention will drop. There's so many ways for me to manipulate my weight when I'm this big that will knock 5 kilos off like that. So I'm not stressed. I still got 4.5 more kilos of muscle. I don't want to be adding anything unnecessary, but muscle to this. And then I've still got a lot of fat that I can lose. Don't get me wrong, I'm not delusional. This isn't like 12%. I know that. But that is the goal. So today, my goal is 2 things. I want my squats to feel as stable and as power transversive as possible. Now that might not be a word, but for me what that means is all the power I put into the floor makes it to the bar. It doesn't get lost somewhere in like a soft core or poor positioning. I want to feel like if I'm putting force into the ground, that force is meeting the bar. And secondly, the more important thing for all of you watching this bench series is I want my bench to feel so damn strong. We have our comp singles now on Monday. So we're maybe looking at, I don't know, 210, 215, 220. I would probably be happy with like a 220 bench. I'll be honest, 220 for a single is well under what I am capable of. But again, week 1, week 2, I'm not trying to jump the boat. I'm not trying to exhaust myself before I even get to the point where I'm my strongest. If all I did was take 220 and then week 3, take 227, and then week 4, maybe jump to 240 or 235, that's fine. We're all okay. I'm happy with like a 275 squat, 235 bench, and a 302 deadlift. We're still in the right realm, and that's still strong as hell for me. So we're going to keep building. We've got our eyes on that prize. But more importantly, I'm going to have some breakfast, and I'll see you guys for the gym. Alrighty, so I'm sure you can tell by just like the atmosphere in here, but it's very loud. It's also very busy. I didn't realize Pure Gyms were so busy on like a Monday lunchtime. I mean, big up to Pure Gym, fair enough. They must be putting on a pretty good deal for these people to be here. I've just finished working up to top set, and top set should feel really good. I'm taking like a much slower mentality and expectation to my squat instead of expecting it to be explosive, which I think led to a lot of like my instabilities in my squat. Instead, I'm just taking it slower, like really chill. I'm letting the music hype me, but not letting it get the better of me. And it's working quite well. 220 felt like nothing on my back, which I feel like is a really good indicator for like my mentality with squats. Is like how heavy does it actually feel on my back? And the 220 felt like nothing. So we've gone to 255, and that's like the heaviest we can go this session. And I feel like it's going to be a really good choice. So I'll show you this. We might have a little bit of a talk afterwards, but then we're just going to go on the bench. I'm not going to force you to sit here and watch all my warm down sets. That's going to be boring for you guys. My squat's not the cool thing here, my bench is. So yeah, I'll see you for the squat. Right, well, that moved really well. I've started to kind of get back that, like, just before I squat, that internal hip rotation cue, which is basically just like relaxing my glutes, putting a little bit more weight into the heel, but also at the same time not, just kind of having like the intention of doing so. And that's really carried across. Like 255, it was never really a struggle at my best, but it definitely was like an indicator set. It was one of those reps where like I could tell if it was going to go good or bad by that weight, and that moved really nicely. Now don't get me wrong, it's week 2. That by no means flew as quick as I'd want it to, but I'm not mad about it. It still felt really good. I've now got some like back offs. I think it's probably going to be in like the 210 region probably. Yeah, so I've got quintuples, so sets of 5. back down, it's probably going to be like 210, 220, wherever it is. There's a lot of drop down sets. But what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to bore you with that. As discussed, squatting isn't why most people know me, and it's probably not why most people are here. I do want to still show my squat and deadlifts because I feel like I don't want to just be the bench only guy. But at the same time, I have enough self-awareness to know that you're all here to watch me go and bench what I squat, basically. So I'm going to do my back off sets. There won't be any recording of that. You'll be free to, go get yourself some popcorn. And then I will see you when I get up to probably my top set bench, or maybe just before, depending. Alright, party people, we've got to the top set, so we're going for 220 today. It's 2.5 kilos over what Joey has prescribed. But I'll be honest, like, the form is feeling great. The arch is high as ever, much to the dismay of every guy with bad shoulders. And the weight's feeling really easy. I have kind of started to trust in my leg drive again. The biggest issue I was having for a long time was that I was trying to bench without leg driving because I just didn't trust that my feet would stick. I was scared that every time I set up, my feet were just going to come out from underneath me. And nothing's changed. I haven't got new shoes. I haven't, done anything crazy. I just kind of started trusting that my feet would hold. And even if they only slide a little bit, I don't really mind because the first rep or 2 reps, they're in the right place. And that gives me the confidence to then carry that for top set for the rest of the session. So we're going to hit 220 for a single, and then we've got back downs. To be fair, the back downs are probably going to end up being around about the same as the last 2 back downs to my squat, which was like 200, 190. But I'm the bench Viking, goddammit. I'm not the squat Viking. I'm not the deadlift Viking. I'm the bench Viking. What do you expect? That pitch up every Friday, Well, I'll be honest with you, that felt like it moved the easiest 220 it's moved in a long time. The arch felt kind of poor actually on the setup. I didn't feel like I got a really nice height position. But I mean, the pause was solid and it flew, so I'm not too mad. It's one of those that, like, if I can improve it, I should. And I think for me, it's all just about making sure that I stay on top of like my kind of like rib cage flexibility. My bench always suffers when I am not capable of expanding my rib cage to allow for the bigger arch. So I can be sad, and I can be sad for everyone else that that 220 moves so damn well. We've now got 3x6 at 7, so the cap on that single in terms of RPE was a 7, which I'm very happy to say that was under. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that that was under a 7. And then my first set of 6 is 187, I believe. Yeah, 187. So something else that I'm kind of trying to do better this block is not just round up or round down. Like, I will take the necessary changes if I think I've overshot or if I've undershot. But like, I feel that was on RP, or at least I'm going to say it was, because even if it was under, I want to kind of handicap myself a little bit, let myself build into week 3 and 4. So I'm just going to do 187.5. I'm not going to jump 190. I'm not going to drop lower. Just going to do 187.5.
The other side, fire call point and leave the building immediately. In the event of a fire alarm sounding, all were instructed to leave by the remote CCTV team via the tunnel system. Please evacuate the gym through the nearest and safest exit. Do not go back into the changing room.
Right, a moment of honesty there, gang. That 187 was awful. Yeah. The positioning was all wrong. I was way too far up the bench. Yeah, there was like no lat in that whatsoever. That was basically like last and press, and that sucked. I set up, and even though I knew I wasn't in the right position, I did it anyway, which was stupid. And that means that I will now be more fatigued than I need to be. So, lesson learned, don't be an idiot. In the grand scheme of things, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I do need to hold myself accountable for stupid stuff like that. So I will take the lower end of my next back off, and I just need to make sure that I don't set up so far up the bench, so that when I unrack, I'm already past my ideal unrack point, because it just ruins the set. And it also kind of hurt, not my shoulders, my neck. My neck got ripped up on that. That sucked. So a really useful skill to have when you're powerlifting is the ability to count. My back off sets were 197.5 kilos instead of 187.5 kilos. So I accidentally just did 10 kilos of what I was supposed to do. Now it makes sense why it felt so heavy. So I've dropped it down to 185, which is what it should have been from the first set. I don't know whether Joey's going to hit me or laugh, but either way it's deserved, man. Count your damn plates, people. I'll be honest, it still wasn't, easy after I dropped it down, but was easier. I'm also, I don't know if you can see, tearing up the back of my neck on these bands. That's the one downside of using bands. If it touches your skin, it will rip your skin up. But that's my 3 sets, so really stupid. Won't do it again, but thankful I did that on bench and not squat or deadlift, because otherwise the fatigue would be, it might have ruined the block, I'll be honest. But with bench, it's fine. Higher calories, a lot more rest today. I'll probably have a hot bath when I get back. I'll just really focus on my recovery and allow myself to recoup. We've now got, I think it's close grip Larsen. Joey kind of when the IPF released the rules about sink pressing, I feel like Joey panicked and just went, everyone gets close grip Larsen. I've never been a sink presser. Never in my history have I been a sink presser. Joey knows this. But I think the rules got Joey startled, because I know a lot of his best lifters, Jesus Olivares, apologies. He's a sink presser. It makes sense. He's a big boy. But Joey, man, I'm safe. I've always been safe. Don't get me caught up. I can feel the fatigue kicking over from miscalculating my bench back off. That 150 wasn't difficult, but it's tiring. In a good way, It's interesting. I feel like my arch has definitely gone a lot better, but putting my feet on the bench to set my shoulders just instantly reminds me how far I still have left to go. The back positioning I can get into when I put my feet on the bench is just infinitely better, because I'm starting with a higher hip position to dagger down into. That being said, it's still moving well. I'm going to be doing 2 more sets of this, but by no means am I going to sit around here for another 5 minutes and show you. Our accessories are some hack squat. It's not going to be heavy, it's more kind of prehab for me. And then we've got some tricep pushdowns, and I'm also throwing in shoulders. I sent my wife a video this morning, or my partner. Everyone keeps going, she's not your wife. I'm trying to get there. I sent my partner a video this morning, basically being like, my physique's looking great at the moment. It can definitely look better. But the biggest issue I have with my physique at the moment, my chest is massively outsizing my shoulders from just like a front angle. Because I'm so front delt dominant, it doesn't look like I train shoulders. And that's a scary thought, people. So, Mission Boulder Shoulders, as my partner named it, is now in full swing. So we've got 3 missions on the go. Mission 260 bench, mission 12% 125 kilo, so lean 125, and now mission boulder shoulder. I've got like 4 kilos of muscle that I can still put on and be under my weight cap. It all needs to go to the shoulders. I need like steroid accusations in the chat right now. That's what I need. I need to work towards that.